I wanted to touch base on why I created a podcast to begin with. And I think that when I was coming up in my early 20s, I would have loved for someone to come in and give me a book about life in the process and how to manage and control your emotion, control yourself, learning how to react, being a better person. How do we grow and evolve? I would have loved like someone coming in and helping me in doing all of this, right? Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Embrace Your Curiosity. I'm your host, Claudia. It feels so weird to even say that. It's been a minute since I've been recording. And I know it has been, I'm not even gonna lie, it's been quite a while. But guys, everybody has a life. Everyone move on and do things, but we're not gonna sit on it because this podcast doesn't have that much of a big audience to even talk about, to like go into posting and stuff. But however, I'm glad that I'm back. I'm glad that I'm recording and doing it again. But I miss this. I do. I have. But here you go. I wanted to touch base on why I created a podcast to begin with. And I think that when I was coming up in my early 20s, I would have loved for someone to come in and give me a book about life in the process and how to manage and control your emotion, control yourself, learning how to react, being a better person. How do we grow and evolve? I would have loved like someone coming in and helping me in doing all of this, right? But it's not, I guess I didn't have it as I got older. I search for it and I find it in books and I find it in videos and other people talking about the same thing, researching and stuff. So I'm learning and then trying to become that person that I want to be, like, that person that offers all the characteristic of a personality that I'm looking for and I want to add to myself. But I always say, like, younger me would have been so appreciative of that, but that didn't happen. However, younger me here now, I'm acting like I'm so old. My early 20s now, so now I'm learning those things and I'm adding those things to myself. So there's no complaining. However, yeah, this podcast is just more of a track record, to be honest, of I would love to look back to see the conversations that I'm having here with you guys, with myself, and how have I evolved from now and then to 2020, in 2030, years from now, who Claudia is and how she acts and who she is as a person. So I'm excited. This is like a diary, a book, a diary, whatever you want to call it. How much have we learned? How much have we given? What information have we gathered? How are we, who we are, and what was the journey like? What was the process like? Was it hard? Was it easy? And I know it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be easy, however, but I know there's just other stuff that happens as well. But this is exciting, yeah. So like this podcast, to reiterate everything this podcast stands for, but more of a diary, more of a track record, more of it's informative for people who who's experiencing something, and then if this can relate to you and it's similar, then you can learn and learn and do something different than I did, or you have children and you're learning about new stuff as well too. You're reaching to your curiosity, trying to figure out life, then this is a good podcast for you as well, because we're all learning. We welcome everyone is accepted. However, I know that not everyone likes certain things, so don't have a high expectation. And if you don't like something, if you don't like a conversation that's happening, however, then it's not for you. Okay? So, yep, just preface that before we get started. I don't know, I feel a little nervous. And I'm like, no one is here, but I still feel weird. I feel a little nervous. But I think it's because I haven't been recording in a while. That's why I feel weird, but it's normal. Today podcast, it's not going to be so long. It's not, since it's been a minute since I've been back, but like, how is everyone doing? Like, leave stuff in comments. Let me know. How is everyone doing? How is life? Has life been good to you? Has life been crazy, kicking your butt? I don't know if you remember, but I did mention, I think, to be honest, like, I need to stop saying like, but I was gonna say I said his life been good to you, but I remember we had a conversation back then about how, I said when I was a bit younger, I would have prayed for someone to come and save me, and then meaning like someone can come and help me and guide me through the path of life, guide me to what I want, show me what I want. And even me now, I'm like, no, you wouldn't even accept it. I would have loved if someone guide me, but like doing things for me, meaning like doing all the adulting and not allowing me to learn and grow for myself, I wouldn't enjoy it. And I know that. But that's, when you're in a deep of it, you're struggling or whatever you're going through emotionally, because everything is really truly mental. It's how you feel mentally about it, how you perceive in your perspective in life makes it harder. But it truly doesn't have to be. I mean, you just have to shift your perspective, all of that good stuff. But we'll talk further into it. So this podcast today, I want to focus it's the same conversation, but like I am on I don't know what book I was reading the last time we talked, but the book I'm reading right now is Think and Grow Rich, right? So a lot of the information in there truly, truly is not just financial. It's exactly what it says. Think and grow rich. Change your mindset. Change everything. Change how you think negatively about things, about life, about your environment, about yourself. Then everything else will shift into the pattern or into the direction that you want it to be in, and which is a good thing. So like even reading this, I'm learning about auto suggestions, right? I mean, words change. People say at one point affirmation was a big thing. You say positive things to yourself in the morning or in the mirror, and you tell yourself how you're supposed to be feeling. And then at one point now, like, oh, affirmation doesn't work. That's not necessarily true for me personally. Affirmation works when it's personal to you. Even when it's not personal to you, sometimes it still works, but the words you say has to have some sort of emotion attached to it, or it won't feel so personal to you, and it's not gonna work. For me personally, everything that I've done, in my personal opinion, everything that I've done and I've attached an emotion is attached to it, love, happiness, or even anger, sadness as well too, attached to it. I feel it deeply, and it's more aligned with me and what I want, right? So I'm learning about autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is kind of similar to affirmation, to be honest. You tell yourself what you want and how you want to feel. Autosuggestion kind of like a self-hypnosis. We have so much influence on ourselves, and we don't know how much power we have over our mind, our thoughts, our body, our mind, our thoughts, our head, everything. Overall, our brain. We have so much influence, and we don't know how much we carry, how heavy it is, right? So autosuggestion is like a self-hypnosis. It's the act of influencing your subconscious mind by changing the way you talk to yourself, right? You say, like I said, like an affirmation. However, like I said before, it has to feel personal to you. It has to have some sort of emotion attached to it. I have been struggling with one thing, right? So I would say that I'm a little bit more spiritual than religious. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. And that could mean a lot of things, right? But I believe there's a God. However, I choose to believe differently about how God has been taught from years, from history, or from a religious aspect, completely different. But just in my way of how I understand it. And I know when I say stuff to myself, like when I'm talking positive to myself, I'm always like, I try to say, God, show your presence in me, this and that. However, like, it's been really hard to say those things because I don't believe in a lot of the religious thing. And it's been really weird. So autosuggestion has been something now I'm trying to practice to learn about. So in the morning, I'm trying to have this morning schedule where it's meditating, focus on meditating, journaling, praying to myself or praying to the universe, to getting aligned with myself and being connected with myself before I set an intention of how I'm going to handle the day or how I'm going to work, how I'm going to communicate with people, my relationship with the people around me, right? So like I'm trying to have a really good routine because it helps. It helps calm me down. It helps regulate my nervous system. It helps me communicate better, to be honest. Then when someone pisses me off or say the wrong thing to me, then I don't have the wrong reaction because I'm learning that not everything needs a reaction. I don't react, but however, like, even like, to be honest, another reaction as well too can be someone say something to you and it makes you sad and you want to cry. But why? I'd be like, why, Claudia? Why do you? Okay, whatever. Moving on, moving forward. So yeah, auto suggestion has been something that right now I'm trying to learn a little bit more and more about because I love the idea, the fact that I can influence my subconscious mind. Do you know how cool that is? That is so cool. I think that's the most interesting thing in the world. The fact that you have so much power that you can influence your subconscious mind. Never seen anything like it. No, that it's bro, listen. I can't even get my words out. Just the thought that like cuz well, at least in my community, I've been taught that there's this external thing out there that's looking out for me. When I pray to it, it helps me and guides me, right? However, I don't believe in that. I believe more in there's something called, you know what? With more and more and more, however, I believe more in science, but I also am still connected to my spiritual side as well. So I can't say I believe in scientific theories and observation and evidence, blah, 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 more. That's not true. I do think science, it plays a big part in our world, in our current, especially things has to change. We need ways to find things and to, like, especially with modern medicine, if there was no science, there wouldn't be no modern medicine. There wouldn't be a lot of things, right? But also I do believe there is this thing called the universe and nature itself. It takes care of itself. It guides us. It leads us. It aligns us, right? I believe in those things. Don't let me lose track, but oh my God. This is the point where I be forgetting what I be talking about. Okay. I remember what I was saying, but I was talking about how, isn't it crazy or isn't it fascinating that we can influence our subconscious mind, something we cannot see. We know it exists and it's a part of us, right? Some people call it the intuition. Some people call it, well, a lot of people call it subconscious thoughts and idea in mind. So we can influence that. We can influence a lot of things if we truly want to. However, yeah, so like, yeah, let's move on. So that is what I'm practicing. I want to be able to get to a point where I'm excited even talking about it, but I do want to get to a point where like the decisions that I make, I'm so connected with myself and I'm so stabilized. I'm so present that when I'm making a decision, my intuition is so present that it makes the decision for me effortlessly. And I feel so connected with that decision, so passionate about it that I don't even have to question because I'm a little indecisive girl. I do get a little indecisive, but I think it's only when the things that I'm confused about, to be honest. I don't get indecisive or something I'm excited about. When it's new and exciting, I get indecisive. So now it's just interesting. But even reading in that book, I know that book can offer me a lot of information and it makes you, a little bit smarter with the decisions you make and the things and the actions and the plans that you have. I just tend to put books down a lot when something else come along and I get distracted from the external world, the outside world, and I don't pick it up for about a week or two or three or more, but I'm back on doing it. And then I also, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last time, but I am going to mention it. And I'm probably going to mention it like moving forward as well too. I know that when I want something, now that I understand you, so with people that say like, oh, what you want will come to you and will find you, that is absolutely true. However, you have to start now, right? I'm learning that when I pray for something or I'm asking for something or I want something, even growth, like I pray for growth and involvement, like I pray for things that is going to better me. I always want to be the better version of myself than I was yesterday, right? So if I want those things, I have to start now. I have to be on point about it. I have to believe in myself, trust and guide myself into it, right? And I have a plan and action to move forward. And I know that the most precious thing I seek the most out of everything, and by the way, if you hear a little tap tap, is my dog. She's just laying down and she's constantly moving. The only reason why she's kind of sad now because she know I'm about to clip her nails. She needs to be trimmed, honey. She looks like a girl that's ready to go out to the club. Long nails, furry fur, very full, right, baby? But anyway, so like I know, yeah, like I know that what's so precious to me is that I want to be connected to myself at all time. My God, the feeling of like not seeking no external validation, the feeling of knowing who you are and trusting that you will figure everything out. The feeling of always when you have a problem, you go to yourself and find that connection and the solution just come to you because you're so grounded with who you are that nothing like the external factors outside doesn't have a bit of influence on your decisions. I love that. I love it, and that's so important to me. So to go back to who I am and to go back to finding out how I operate, I have to get in a plan of working towards those things. And that means sitting down, meditating, reading, journaling. That means taking on a walk to nature. That means talking to family. That means communicating. That means staying present. Like all of those things that you need to add to who yourself that makes you a better person, that you see when you look in the mirror, you see that version of yourself that you've been looking for, and you don't even have to look for it because it's already there. You just have to be able to tap into it, right? That excites me. That makes me so happy. It does. It makes me happy, and I like that feeling. I like it a lot. We're gonna move forward. And by the way, as well, I don't like in this I'm trying, I don't know what it is, and I think it's because I'm recording without a camera and you guys cannot see me, but I feel so like chill when I'm talking. And there's nothing, and I love being chill. I don't think it's chill, but it's just so calm. It's weird how calm I am when I'm recording because I would be in this doing face expressions, gestures, and stuff like that. And I think it's because I'm by myself as well too. So I need to get people in this podcast. But yeah, like I feel so, and it gives me boring vibes. I need to get stuff for this podcast. I know. Let's see what was the topic for today as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a series of questions that I probably will bring it every episode. We will try to see. I'm not making any promises, but we'll try to bring it on episodes like questions that we struggled with when that people can comment on, and I'll give my personal opinions that we struggle with that we needed help with when we were younger, and I mean in our like way early teens that could have guided us and made life a little bit more easier, right? So one of the questions are, how do we gain confidence in ourselves and be able to trust ourselves to whatever, follow our dreams, accomplish our goals, or just trust ourselves when it comes to making decisions or finding solutions to problem. Like, how do we gain that confidence in ourselves to know that we can find that solution without seeking it elsewhere? So, I mean, I can dissect it a little bit, how I figured mine out, right? I'm trying to think, and then I take a pause most likely because I'm still trying to think. I think for me, I'm still learning to trust myself in the process every single day, but I think it got way much better last year. Like, I really took a leap of faith and decided that I'm gonna trust myself in the path that I'm taking. Like, even then, and to be honest, there's not just one path. Like, so I say I'm just figuring it out, and I'm gonna trust myself to figure it out, to know that it's gonna be okay, to know that like one decision doesn't kill you. You have more and more decisions that you'll be making down the line, right? So I think one of the step that I took to trust myself in the process, or trust myself in the decisions that I'm making, what I did was I did it little by little because I didn't trust myself when I was younger. I started off trusting myself, and then, when you get older, other people, friends, family became heavily involved into your life, it's either you added them or you didn't have any say in the matter. And yeah, so it started off like instead of you asking yourself questions about whether you would do this, whether you would do that, should you go with this or should you follow that, you would ask a friend. And then that become a routine where when you're making a decision, you ask your parents, you ask a friend, you ask a colleague, you ask a stranger in the freaking street. But and then little by little, you don't realize how much damage you're doing to your self-confidence, yourself, because you are the last person to ask yourself, what do you want? Someone else would come and ask you before you ask yourself. Isn't that so weird? Instead of asking us, do we I said us. Instead of asking ourselves in the mirror, like, do we like this dress? Do we do this? We would rather ask someone else. It's not because it's not because we're biased towards who we are. I mean, yes, that is true. However, then we rely heavily on other people's opinion about ourselves, and that kind of damage our self-respect and self-confidence, right? Because now somebody else's opinion matters more than the opinion of ourselves. I think that's strange, but that's how it starts. So how I started to shift that was to learn what I like. And then what I did too? I also took the weird things that I like the most and I would put it in other people's faces. So when they have a comment and they have a commentary thing to say about me, or they have a comment to say about me, then I'd be like, as long as I like it, as long internally I feel okay with who I am, then I could care less. I couldn't care less about your personal opinion about me, right? It's not being rude, but it's more being, hey, I'm so thankful that you think that. However, it's not about you. It really isn't. It's just not. It's just not. Like, it's not about you. It's about me and how I like what looks on me. So I would do things that I like, that I enjoy, especially weird things that other people don't enjoy. Because then when I start to make myself uncomfortable, then I've allowed myself to get myself out of the little comfortable bubble, the shell that it's in, to blossom into a little caterpillar. Into a little butterfly. And so yeah, eventually other people's opinions didn't matter. But that wasn't just the only thing I did as well. Yeah, but that was one of the biggest things, like doing things you like, doing the small things that bring you joy, and then just rely on your inner self heavily. And I know some people say that they don't have an intuition and they don't know what an intuition is. You have to practice those things, right? You have to develop that relationship. Let me tell you something. That little thing that's inside of you, and I know people say they don't have a voice. Some people don't have a voice. It's weird to say, but that connection that's inside of you, it's a person itself. You are that soul that's inside of you has its own personality. So why don't you create a relationship with yourself so that you don't have to seek it elsewhere? I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to find a word that makes sense to it. All the words is not going to make sense to everyone, but I'm trying to find a common ground. Just find a way to create a relationship with who you are, with yourself, so that it doesn't seem so out of this world when you are trying to ask yourself a question. It doesn't seem awkward. It doesn't seem weird, because you need to have a personal relationship with who you are, with yourself. Moving forward, because I'm saying yourself. What else did I do? But really, I'm still learning. To be honest, I'm still learning. I'm still managing. But when I know that I am disconnected the most is when I feel really weird. And most of the time, yeah, I'll be feeling weird. But when I feel weird, when I feel exhausted and overwhelming weird, or when I react nervously to something or a situation, That's when I know I'm disconnected with who I am and I don't trust me in the process. And I'm like, damn. Yeah, I'm like, girl, we gotta get this back together. Yep, so that was one of the questions. How do we gain confidence in who we are so that we can trust ourselves when we're making decisions? Okay. I said, okay. And then the second question was big for me when I was in school. What was it? There was a lot that was big for me. Will everything be okay? And absolutely hell effing yes, okay? Hell fucking yes. Sorry. Oh, not even. Hell yes. Yeah. Yes. Everything will be okay. When I say that I don't know how there, because you know how people will say things to you all the time. Like there's words that's been thrown around, right? People will tell you have faith, trust the process, believe in who you are. And you just saying people, you just believing that they're just talking. Like people are just saying things just to say things. That's not true. Like those things are really honestly true, but that's because you have to go through things to understand that. You have to experience. I'm not saying like you have to go through bad stuff to see good life. That's not true. That's not what I'm saying at all. However, I will say that I'm always gonna throw however in the middle of a conversation. However, a lot of those buzzwords are true. They are. Everything will be okay. It is all mentally in your head. You can shift your perspective. Life is not as hard as you think. Life is only as hard if you make it hard. And I know when we're going through things, really what's beating us is that emotional control that we don't have with ourselves, that emotional control we don't have to understand that if you're going through something, just go through it, pass through it, just go, literally just pass and go through it, sit in it so that you can understand like the feeling of like, man, this was not even as hard as I thought it was. When you're in it, it feels so hard, but when you pass through it, you on the other side, it feels like it was a breeze. It does. It feels like a breeze. Like this doesn't even, what was I crying about? What was I complaining about? However, I can't even, like, I don't even want to say that it's not as hard because some people like pain capacity, how they handle things are completely different. But I know for myself, like when I sit through my pain and I walk through the other side, I don't think it's as hard as I thought it was. And I'm a dramatic person. I really am. I have, for pain, mental, emotional pain, any pain, physical pain, the capacity level is low. It really is at the bottom, but really is. But you know what, too? It's so funny I say that. When I look back at the stuff that I've been through, the situations I've been in, I'm like, Claudia, and then one thing I will appreciate about my brain, and I don't know if it's a positive and negative thing, is that, which I need to go and get my brain scanned. I tend to, the bad stuff don't stick with me. Once I leave the bad stuff, I don't remember it until someone else bring it into a conversation. Or I really sat down. I'm like, if I have to, I never do it, but sometimes once in a while, like I write letters to myself and I'll read them back about what I was going through at the time. And I'm like, oh, I did go through that. Oh my God, how come I don't remember this and that? My brain tends to, I'll say shift perspective or put that in a back burner. There's memories of ourselves that's in a back burner of our mind, like back in the storage that never have to be found. I don't know why, and that's something I definitely want to look more into. But I know for sure I don't tend to sit in the past. I don't tend to wallow in my sorrows and the things that I've been through. Once I've been through it, I move on. I don't think about them. Unless it's brought up. When I say unless it's brought up to conversations by people that knows me. And even then I'm like, did I really go through that? Like, did that really happen? And I'm like, yeah, I did actually. It actually did. So what I was like I said, it's my brain trying to protect me. I don't know. My body's trying to protect me. I can't tell you. And it probably is. However, when a situation that is unexpected, and I don't sit in things that I can't control. If I can't control it, then it really doesn't have much to do with me. I'm just gonna go through it and see what end up on the other side. However, if I can control it as much as I can, because I'm kind of a control person as well. Not control person, but I like things a certain way. I like my life to go a certain way. However, I've given myself a little bit more space to allow things to develop on its own. But if I could, girl, my life here. Because I know if one thing I can control is myself. I can't control anything else that's outside that happens. So I can't sit and hope and pray that one day, it just doesn't work for me to think about every other thing that has nothing to do with me. Everything that has to do with something to do with me, I have that. I can handle that. Anything else? No, it's not happening. I don't want to go to I feel like I'm rambling. Yes, okay. But yeah, everything is going to be okay. Just allow yourself to feel the emotions. Allow yourself to go through the process. Allow yourself to walk through the journey. It's going to be okay. What you want now, start now. Start doing it now. Start practicing now. And I know I'm saying this, and I'm saying it to myself as well, because sometimes I don't practice what I preach. Most of the times I do practice what I preach, but lately, few days, it's been giving Claudia, get on your stuff. But yeah, everything is going to be okay. Just remember, everything changes. Nothing stays the same forever. Everything is temporary. And temporary could mean years, but it is still temporary. It doesn't last. Temporary could be a year or 2 years, but it's still temporary, right? It's not a long-term thing. Long-term thing for me, conversation moving on. But yes, everything is temporary. Nothing lasts forever, except for, some things don't last forever. We'll just say some things don't last forever. But you are going to be okay. But you do have to go. You have to fight through it. You have to go through it. There are times I thought about giving up, but I know for sure I would never give up. I want to give up. I want to be those people. Speaking, that's not good. But in the past, I would want to be those people who just give up and just move on. Oh my God, you know what I used to beg for? To be those nonchalant people that just go through life with breeze, that don't plan, that don't think, and everything just work out for them. I would have begged to have that. But that was never the case for me. I'm a planner, and I used to overthink a lot. I don't do that no more because life is not that serious. It only made me more sick when I was overthinking. But what else? Once I started to have faith in myself, trusting the process, allowing myself to be aligned with what I want, and I plan and I act on it, I realized life could be as easy as I want it to be. Once I learned that really, truly, I am the master of my life. There are things we can't control, I will say this, but however, the stuff that I can control made my life so much easier, and that's mostly all the things that goes on my life. The things that I can't control really has everything to do with other people, like family members, friends, loved ones, relationship, all that stuff. But everything else that has to do with Claudia, she got it handled. Okay. And if she can't, she go to sleep. Sleep, because that problem will be right there when you wake up. So do not worry about that. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the podcast. So on our next podcast, I hope it's a little bit more livelier. I'm a little sleepy. But, also too, I wanted to say the videos are going to come where I'm going to start posting my podcast on YouTube. So in the next coming up weeks, the next week coming up, I'm going to start working on that. I'm not promising anything soon, however, but it will merge and transition into YouTube videos, okay? So thank you guys for coming in and listening of me talking about nonsense, but this is our way of expressing the things that we went through, and this is going to be our little guidebook, a little diary. But yes, everyone is welcome. Everyone is accepted. Please leave likes and comments and tell me what you think. Actually, add questions about what you suffered with the most when you were growing up and what you would have loved someone to step in and tell you and guide you. I'd love to hear it, or any thoughts and opinion. Okay? All right, guys. I will see you guys on Friday. I'll put another episode out on Friday. So yeah, tune in Mondays and Fridays. That's when the episodes come out. See you guys later.